I've lived in my beach house for 42 years. My wife, Eleanor, and I bought it in 1982 for $87,000, a fortune back then. But we'd saved for years and dreamed of a place where we could watch the ocean, raise our daughter, and eventually retire. Eleanor passed away 6 years ago, and since then, this house has been my sanctuary, my connection to her memory, and my home. The house itself isn't massive. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, about 1,800 square feet. But it sits on prime oceanfront property in a town that's become increasingly desirable over the decades. Real estate agents leave cards in my mailbox weekly. Developers call with offers. My neighbors have sold their homes for astronomical sums, and the modest beach cottages that once lined this street have been replaced by modern glass mansions. But I'm not selling. This is where Eleanor and I raised our daughter, Jennifer. This is where we celebrated birthdays and holidays. This is where Eleanor took her last breath, in our bedroom overlooking the water she loved. I'm 73 years old, and yes, I'm slowing down. My knees aren't what they used to be. I need reading glasses now. I sometimes forget where I put my keys. But I'm healthy, independent, and perfectly capable of living on my own. My daughter Jennifer doesn't see it that way. "Dad, you're being stubborn," she'd said over dinner 3 months ago, when she and her husband, Craig, had driven up from the city to visit. "This house is too much for you. The stairs, the maintenance, being alone out here." "I'm fine, honey. I've lived here for 4 decades. I know every inch of this place." Craig had chimed in, his voice dripping with false concern. "But what if something happens? What if you fall, and no one finds you for days?" "I have neighbors. I have friends. I have a phone." Jennifer had exchanged a look with Craig, a look I'd seen before but hadn't fully understood at the time. Now I know exactly what that look meant. They weren't worried about me. They were worried about the house. The conversation I overheard happened 2 weeks ago, on a Thursday evening. Jennifer and Craig had come up for what they called a family dinner. I'd made my famous spaghetti carbonara, Eleanor's recipe, and we'd eaten on the deck, watching the sun set over the Pacific. It had been pleasant, almost like old times, and I'd felt hopeful that maybe we were moving past the tension that had been building. After dinner, I'd excused myself to lie down. The ocean air and a glass of wine had made me drowsy, and I told them I was going to rest my eyes for a bit. My bedroom is on the second floor, but I came back downstairs about 30 minutes later because I'd forgotten to take my blood pressure medication. That's when I heard their voices on the deck. The sliding door was open, and they clearly thought I was asleep upstairs. "Can't keep waiting," Craig was saying. "This property is worth at least $3.2 million now. Maybe more." "I know, but we can't just force him out. He's my father." "Jennifer, be realistic. He's 73. He's getting forgetful. He almost burned the kitchen down last month." That was a lie. I'd left a pot on the stove and the smoke alarm went off, but nothing burned. It happened once. "I know, but nothing. We have options here. Silver Meadows Retirement Home has that memory care unit. We can get him evaluated, get a doctor to say he needs assisted living." My blood went cold. I stood frozen in the hallway, hidden from their view. "Memory care? Craig, he doesn't have dementia." "Not yet, but the evaluation can show early signs. I talked to a guy at work whose mom went through this. You just need the right doctor, someone who understands the situation." That's unethical." "What's unethical is letting your father live alone in a house worth millions when he can barely remember to take his medication. Look, we get him into Silver Meadows. It's a nice place, he'll be safe, and we can sell this house, invest the money, secure our future. Our kids' future." "You have 2 kids in private school and a condo in Manhattan," I thought bitterly. "Your future seems pretty secure already." Jennifer was quiet for a moment. How would we even do it? My heart sank. She was considering it. "We talked to him. Tell him it's for his own good. If he refuses, we can petition for conservatorship. I've already talked to a lawyer. With the right medical evaluation showing cognitive decline, we can make the argument that he's not capable of making his own decisions. And then what? Then we become his legal guardians. We make decisions for him, including where he lives and what happens to his assets. The house goes on the market, we put him in Silver Meadows, and everyone's taken care of. It feels wrong. It feels wrong because you're thinking with your emotions instead of your brain. Your father is old, Jennifer. He's not getting any younger. This house is wasted on one old man living alone. We could sell it, put him somewhere safe with professional care, and use the money to actually improve our lives. I heard the sound of wine being poured. How long would it take? Jennifer asked. The lawyer said 6 to 8 weeks if everything goes smoothly. We need to establish a pattern of concerning behavior, get the medical evaluation, file the paperwork. It's all very standard. And Dad wouldn't be able to stop it. Not if he's been declared incompetent. That's the whole point. I stood there in my hallway, in my home, listening to my daughter and son-in-law plot to have me declared incompetent, institutionalized, and stripped of everything Eleanor and I had built. I should have been angry. I should have stormed out there and confronted them. But I didn't. Instead, I quietly pulled out my phone and started recording. Over the next 2 weeks, I let them continue their plan. I played the role they wanted, the forgetful old man who couldn't quite manage on his own. I forgot to turn off the stove again, making sure Jennifer was there to see it. I misplaced my wallet and asked Craig to help me find it. I mentioned getting confused about what day it was. I left the front door unlocked accidentally. Each incident was carefully calculated to feed their narrative while I documented everything. Jennifer scheduled an appointment with a Dr. Marcus Welby. Yes, that was actually his name, who apparently specialized in geriatric evaluations. Craig mentioned the appointment casually over dinner. Dad, we think it would be good for you to get a checkup. Just a standard evaluation, make sure everything's okay. I feel fine, I said, playing along. I know, but at your age, it's important to stay on top of these things. We've made an appointment for next Tuesday. I'll drive you. That's not necessary. Dad. Jennifer put her hand over mine. Please, for me. I worry about you out here alone. I agreed because I wanted to see how far they'd go. Dr. Welby's office was in a professional building downtown. The waiting room was filled with elderly patients and their adult children, all wearing the same expression of weary concern. Craig had come with me, and he spent the first 10 minutes of the appointment talking to Dr. Welby privately while I waited in the examination room. I could hear their muffled voices through the door. Craig, no doubt, establishing the narrative of my supposed decline. When Dr. Welby finally examined me, he asked standard questions. What year is it? Who's the president? Can you count backward from 100 by sevens? I answered everything correctly, but I noticed him writing notes that seemed more extensive than my responses warranted. Mr. Harrison, your son-in-law mentioned some concerns about memory issues. Craig isn't my son-in-law. He's my daughter's husband, and I don't have memory issues. He mentioned you've been forgetting to turn off appliances, misplacing items. I left a pot on the stove once. I'm 73, not senile. Dr. Welby gave me a patronizing smile. Of course. But at your age, small signs can indicate larger issues. I'd like to schedule some follow-up cognitive testing, just to establish a baseline. A baseline for what? For your continued care and well-being. I recognized a game being played. This baseline would become evidence of decline regardless of my actual performance. I'll think about it, I said. After the appointment, Craig was all concern and false comfort. The doctor says everything looks good, Dad. He just wants to do some follow-up tests. I'm sure he does. That evening, I called my own lawyer, Martin Chen, who'd been handling my legal affairs since Eleanor passed. I told him everything. The overheard conversation, the recording, the doctor's appointment, all of it. Robert, Martin said carefully, what you're describing could constitute attempted fraud and elder abuse. If they pursue conservatorship under false pretenses. I know. I need you to do something for me. Name it. I told him my plan. He was quiet for a long moment. That's aggressive. They tried to steal my home and my autonomy. I think aggressive is appropriate. It'll hurt your relationship with your daughter. Martin, my daughter planned to have me declared incompetent and institutionalized so she could sell my house. I think that relationship is already damaged beyond repair. He sighed. All right. I'll need a few days to put everything in place. You have 2 weeks. That's when they're planning their next move. Jennifer called the next day with an invitation. Dad, Craig and I have been talking. We think you should come stay with us for a while. Just a couple of weeks. Let us take care of you. Give yourself a break from the house. This was it. The next phase of their plan. Get me out of the house, establish that I couldn't live independently, and build their case for conservatorship. I appreciate that, honey, but I'm fine here. Dad, please. I worry about you. Just 2 weeks. What's the harm? What's the harm? The harm is that you'll use those 2 weeks to gather evidence for your scheme. But I said, okay, if it means that much to you. Her relief was audible. Great. We'll come get you this Saturday. Pack light. We'll have everything you need here. Pack light. Because I wouldn't be coming back. Not to my home, anyway. They'd make sure of that. I spent the next 3 days moving at lightning speed. Martin worked his legal magic while I handled the practical matters. First, I contacted Melissa Rodriguez, the top real estate agent in town, the same woman who'd been leaving cards in my mailbox for 5 years. Melissa, this is Robert Harrison. I'm ready to sell. Her excitement was barely contained. Mr. Harrison, I've been hoping you'd call. I have buyers ready to make offers sight unseen. I need this done quickly, very quickly. How quickly? I need closing within 10 days. She whistled. That's ambitious. But for a property like yours, I can make it happen. My clients have been waiting for this opportunity. Cash buyers only. No contingencies. I want this clean and fast. I have 3 buyers who fit that criteria. What's your asking price? I named a figure, $3.4 million, slightly above current market value, but not unreasonable given the location and demand. Done. I'll have offers for you by tomorrow morning. True to her word, Melissa called me at 9 a.m. the next day with 3 offers. 2 at asking price. 1 at $3.5 million. The highest offer came from a couple from Silicon Valley who'd been looking for a beach property for 2 years. They'll pay cash, close in 7 days, and they'll take the house as is, furniture included if you want. Tell them yes. While the sale was processing, I hired movers to clear out the items that mattered. Eleanor's things, our photos, personal mementos. Everything else could stay. I put everything I cared about into a storage unit under Martin's name. I also transferred all my financial accounts to new institutions, updated my will to remove Jennifer as executor and beneficiary, and set up a trust that would distribute my estate to the charities Eleanor and I had supported. Jennifer called twice during this period, confirming plans for my visit. I played the role perfectly, the grateful father, slightly confused, eager for his daughter's care. I'm looking forward to it, honey. It'll be nice to spend time with you. We're excited too, Dad. Craig's already cleared out the guest room. I bet he has, probably measuring it for resale value. Saturday morning arrived, moving day. Not for me, but for them. Jennifer and Craig pulled up at 10 a.m. sharp, their SUV gleaming in the morning sun. I watched from the window as they got out, both wearing expressions of practiced concern. I opened the door before they could knock. Dad, Jennifer hugged me. Ready to go? Actually, There's been a change of plans. Craig's smile faltered. What kind of change? I'm not going with you, but I do have something for you. I held out 2 envelopes. These are for you both. Jennifer took them, confused. Dad, what? Open them. She opened hers first. Inside was a single key and a note that read, Your inheritance. Enjoy. Craig opened his. Same thing. I don't understand, Jennifer said. What is this? Keys to the beach house. You wanted it so badly, I'm giving it to you. For a moment, it looked stunned, then thrilled. Craig actually laughed. Robert, that's incredibly generous. We don't know what to say. Don't say anything yet. You'll want to go see it first. See it? We know the house, Dad. We've been visiting for years. Yes, but you haven't seen it today. I suggest you drive over there now. Something in my tone made Jennifer pause. Dad, what's going on? Just go. You'll see. They exchanged confused glances but headed back to their SUV. I watched them drive away, then got into my own car, packed with the last of my essentials, and followed at a distance. I parked down the street, watching as Jennifer and Craig pulled into the driveway of what used to be my home. The first thing they saw was the sign, Sold, Rodriguez Realty. Jennifer got out slowly, staring at the sign like it might disappear. Craig's face went from confused to angry in seconds. They used the keys I'd given them, which technically still worked, since closing had only happened yesterday and the new owners weren't moving in until tomorrow. I gave them 10 minutes to explore the empty house before I walked up the driveway. I found them in the living room, which was completely bare except for the echo of their voices. Where does everything? Craig was shouting into his phone, presumably trying to reach me. I'm right here, I said from the doorway. They spun around. Jennifer's face was pale, her eyes wide with shock. Craig's was purple with rage. What did you do? Jennifer whispered. I sold my house. Closed yesterday. The new owners take possession tomorrow. You can't. Dad, this is our inheritance. No, this was my house. My property. Built with my money and my late wife's dreams. You have no legal claim to it. Craig stepped forward, his fists clenched. You senile old bastard. You don't know what you've done. Actually, I know exactly what I've done. And I'm not senile, Craig. In fact, I have something for you. I pulled out my phone and played the recording from the deck 2 weeks ago. Their voices filled the empty room. We get him into Silver Meadows, sell this house, secure our future. How would we even do it? Petition for conservatorship. Write medical evaluation showing cognitive decline. Jennifer's face crumbled as she heard her own voice agreeing to the scheme. Craig's expression shifted from anger to panic. That's, you recorded a private conversation. Craig sputtered. In my own home, which is perfectly legal in this state. Single-party consent. I'm the party, and I consented to recording. Dad, please, Jennifer's voice broke. We were just worried about you. No, you were worried about missing out on $3.4 million. 3.4. Craig's eyes went wide. You sold it for $3.4 million. Actually, $3.5 million. The buyers really wanted it. That money is mine. It's my money from my house, from my life's work. And you're not getting a penny of it. Jennifer sank down onto the floor, her back against the wall. What are we supposed to do now? I suggest you figure out how to live within your means. Your jobs, your condo, your kids' school. Those are your responsibilities, not mine. But we counted on. You counted on me dying or becoming incompetent so you could steal my property. That's not inheritance planning, Jennifer. That's elder abuse. That's fraud. And I have you on tape discussing it. Craig's phone started ringing. He looked at it, then at me. It's our lawyer. The one helping you with the conservatorship case? I'd answer that. He's probably calling to tell you that my lawyer has sent him a cease and desist letter, along with copies of the recording. If you pursue any legal action against me, those recordings go to the district attorney. Jennifer was crying now, her face in her hands. Part of me, the part that was still her father, wanted to comfort her. But the larger part of me, the part that had heard her casually discuss having me institutionalized, stayed firm. You're destroying our lives, Craig said, his voice shaking with fury. No, I'm protecting mine. There's a difference. Jennifer is your daughter. And she tried to have me declared incompetent to steal my home. Tell me, Craig, what should a father do in that situation? He had no answer. I turned to Jennifer. I raised you better than this. Your mother raised you better than this. We taught you about integrity, about family, about treating people with dignity and respect. And you repaid that by trying to steal from me. We weren't stealing, she sobbed. We were going to take care of you. In Silver Meadows? With what money? You were planning to use my money from the house sale to pay for the facility. I would have been funding my own imprisonment. It's not imprisonment, it's assisted living. I don't need assistance. I need my daughter to see me as a human being instead of an obstacle to real estate wealth. Craig's phone rang again, and again. Over the next 20 minutes, as we stood in that empty house, both of their phones rang constantly. Voicemails piled up, their lawyer, the doctor they tried to manipulate, Jennifer's brother, who I'd called to explain everything, and friends they'd apparently told about their inheritance plans. I left them there and walked back to my car. As I drove away, I could see them in the rearview mirror, standing in the driveway of the house they'd tried to steal, their phones buzzing with the consequences of their scheme. I'm writing this from my new apartment, a modest 2-bedroom in a building specifically designed for active seniors who want independence with optional support services. It's not oceanfront, but I can see the water from my balcony. It's not the house Eleanor and I built our life in, but it's safe, comfortable, and most importantly, it's mine. The $3.5 million from the house sale is invested conservatively. Some is in trusts for Eleanor's favorite charities. Some is set aside for my care if I ever do need assisted living, real assisted living, chosen by me, not imposed on me. And some is in an account that will fund college scholarships for students studying marine biology, Eleanor's passion. Jennifer and Craig have called 103 times in the past week. I've listened to exactly 0 of those voicemails. Martin has screened them and assures me they range from apologetic to threatening, with everything in between. Their lawyer did send a letter threatening legal action, but Martin responded with the recordings and a detailed explanation of their attempted fraud. We haven't heard from them since. The hardest part isn't losing the house. It's losing my daughter. Or rather, accepting that I'd already lost her long before that conversation on the deck. The person I raised. The little girl who used to collect seashells with her mother, who used to read books on the beach until sunset. That person had been replaced by someone I didn't recognize. Maybe she'll find her way back. Maybe she'll do the hard work of examining why she thought it was acceptable to treat her father as an inconvenient obstacle to wealth. Maybe she'll realize that the real inheritance Eleanor and I tried to leave her had nothing to do with real estate. But that's not my responsibility anymore. I'm 73 years old. I'm healthy, independent, and capable of making my own decisions. I have friends, hobbies, and a life that I built intentionally. And I have the satisfaction of knowing that when my daughter tried to steal my dignity, my autonomy, and my home, I didn't just protect myself. I made damn sure she understood the consequences. The beach house is gone, but I'm still here, still standing, still making my own choices. And that's worth more than any property could ever be. 6 months after everything happened, I received a letter. Not from Jennifer, from Craig. It was short. Mr. Harrison, Jennifer and I are separated. The stress of what happened, combined with the financial reality of our situation, destroyed our marriage. She blames me for the plan. Maybe she's right. I wanted you to know that I'm sorry. Not sorry we got caught. Sorry for thinking of you as nothing more than an inheritance. My own father died when I was young, and I never understood what it meant to have a parent who actually cared. I saw your money instead of your humanity. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that what you did, it taught me something. Painfully, but effectively. Craig. I didn't respond to the letter. I'm not sure there's anything to say. But I kept it. Because maybe, just maybe, that's the first honest thing Craig ever said to me. And who knows? Maybe Jennifer will write her own letter someday. Maybe she'll do the work to understand what she did and why it was wrong. Maybe she'll rebuild herself into someone who values people over property. I hope she does. Not for me. I've made peace with our relationship ending. But for her. Because the person she became, the one who could coldly discuss institutionalizing her own father to steal his home, isn't someone who can ever really be happy. And despite everything, I still want my daughter to be happy. Just not at my expense.